Hello kids, have a good day. Let me welcome you all to history class. History is a new subject for you, is it? Previous year, you had studied stories of many people, different types of houses, food item, etc. in your EVS book. This year, you don't have any EVS book, but you have science and social science books. And social science is again divided into three books like geography, political science, and history. Today, let us discuss what the history lessons are telling us. For fun, let us separate the word history into two. His story. What it means? History means story of he or somebody. So, our history chapters tell us so many stories of old people, their lifestyle, jobs, the place where they live, the buildings they made, the religious practices they followed, and so on. Kids, if I am asking you to tell me what happened yesterday, easily you will recall and will tell. If it is about 10 years back, you will collect details from your parents. And if it is about 50 years or more, sometimes mostly you may need to depend on your grandparents or somebody else. Presently, if we need to get any details about anything, we are happy and lucky that everything will be ready there in Google, or books are available, or movies are there, or many such materials. But if we need to give or to get details about people who lived on the earth so many million years ago, to whom we can ask or who will help us? It is very difficult to know about them as they couldn't write anything anywhere, as there no any books were available, or they didn't make any movies as technologies were not available, or didn't record anything anywhere on their own because no pens, no pencil, no paper, no tab, no phone, etc. So, if we need to know about them, we need to depend on some other materials which they might have used. But from where we will get it? That is another problem. But we have solutions. So children, it's very interesting to collect details about the old people from nature. Let us discuss such methods in our history chapters. Our first lesson is what, where, how and when. See, the name itself is really a day special. These four question words clearly express the curiosity of a kid who is interested to study history. This lesson tells us about the life of old people as they were hunters or farmers or rulers or herders or merchants or traders or carpenters or craft persons, etc. Let us find out the places where did they live. In olden time, mostly people selected places near to rivers as they need water, or they selected places near to forests or mountains in order to collect different materials from the nearby area. In India, places like banks of river Narmada, river Indus and river Ganga were selected by people to live. People those who selected river banks of Narmada were hunters and they were gatherers too. It means people those who are collecting food item from the nearby forest. They were gathering food from the nearby area. Some of them opted to live near to the banks of river Indus and Ganga, where they formed villages which later developed into cities. The hilly or mountainous areas where people lived in olden time in India were Sulaiman Hills and Kirtar Hills in the northwestern part of India. Presently these two places are in Pakistan. And they were farmers. They cultivated wheat, barley, etc. And they also domesticated different types of animals like sheep, goat and cattle, and they live in villages too. People, those who were selected to live near to Vindya mountain ranges in central India, were really farmers and were the first to start cultivating rice in India. The first place where rice cultivation was found in India was places near to Vindhyas. Thus, we could understand some stories about old people and we could locate some places where they lived. You know, how can we identify these places? Who told us that people were living in these locality? It is only because of the product or materials that our scientists or geographers or geologists unearthed from the areas which was or were used by people in olden time. Sometimes the tools or the machineries that they used, most probably all the machineries were made out of stone, or the seeds that the people used to cultivate different types of crops also were unearthed by our geographers. So, all materials that we are unearthing from different places will help us to study about the lifestyle or the job of old people. Even though they didn't write anything anywhere, the materials that we are unearthing from different localities will help us to collect details about such people, those who lived in different parts of India or across the world. So, the beginning of our first lesson gave details about where did the people live, what were their main occupation, etc. So, my dear children, as we talked about some place names and river banks in this lesson, we must go through the map of India given in textbook and try to find out the places mentioned here. Let us continue the remaining portions of chapter in the next class. Watch your videos well, prepare your notes. Thank you.